morning. I'm Peggy Hurson.
And I'm Scott Clark.
And we are coming to you from the coffee shop. We are still at El Diablo Coffee, which we were at last week.
And it's still raining.
And it's still raining, and it's still March 16th, but you're listening to this in a week later.
Yeah. So it might be sunny.
It might be. Yeah. Let's hope.
And the reason why we're recording this is because I am now technically out of town.
Where are you going?
Victoria.
Oh, that's right.
Which may or may not happen because
oh no, what happened?
I sent off my passport to get renewed because it expired in February.
Yeah.
But it got sent back to me because I forgot to sign the fucking application and I forgot to sign it.
Are you gonna do the expedited thing?
No, it's already off. It's on its in process. So we have like a week.
Yeah.
And then I went and got my enhanced ID.
Oh, okay.
But you need the permanent one. The temporary doesn't work to cross the border.
That sucks. Yeah. So if the mail comes, you'll get either your passport or
so either way, I spent money to go nowhere.
Yeah. So. Well, it's faster than it used to be because it used to be so much slower to get your passport.
Yeah, and more expensive too.
Yeah. Well, they passed a law that it used to be you could either go the normal way and pay a certain amount, or you could go through one of those private places, and they would charge you a huge markup. And then they passed a law that made it illegal to charge a huge markup.
Yeah, because that's scavenging.
Exactly.
It's
for a government service.
Right.
And so now it's the same price whether you know.
And you do it, and they prefer you to do it all by mail. They don't do anything online. And we could have went in, but I didn't have a time to go to the office to do it. And that's probably the best way.
But even if you go to the office, they still have to mail it to you.
It's still the best way because everything's done correctly.
Right, totally.
So anyway,
cool. That'll be a fun
hopefully
trip.
We'll be in Victoria.
I need to get my passport renewed. I let mine expire a few years ago because I had gone to El Salvador and couldn't really afford it and ended up racking a bunch of credit card charges up, more than I wanted to. And I got back and I was like, you know what? I need to not travel when I can't afford it because it's stupid to pay for.
Right.
Like, it was a really good trip, but I sensed that I was getting loosey-goosey with the credit card.
Right.
And so I let my passport expire and was like, I'm not allowed to renew it until after I'm out of debt.
Oh.
So then fast forward a couple of years and I got out of debt, but I was in grad school.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I can't afford to travel when I'm in grad school.
I think you can renew it up to 5 years after expiration, and then after that you have to just get a whole new one.
I know, yeah. No, it's fine. And then, so I was in grad school, so I didn't get it renewed because I was like, I'm too poor to afford to travel anyway. And so then, now I'm out of grad school, and I have the lowest paying job of all time. And so now I'm like, well, why get it renewed when I can't travel anyway because I'm too poor?
Yeah.
So at some point, I have to get it renewed because I'm going on a cruise with my friend.
Yeah.
She won a cruise for 2.
Oh, nice.
She entered this raffle, and so I'm going to be her travel buddy.
Where?
We're gonna
To
go
where?
On, the Bahamas.
Nice.
So I'm going to just get my... I mean, you can do it with your birth certificate, but I'm like, you know what? I just need my passport.
Yeah.
I'll just get it renewed.
Yeah,
but we're going, I think, next fall.
I like having that document. It's kind of, it's official.
It is nice.
Yeah, I like seeing the stamps in there and
totally.
Stuff. It's like a competition a little bit. Not with anybody but myself. But but you know what? You surrender that too. It's like once you renew it, it's like you no longer get your stamps. It's like I lose all my stamps.
I know, it's very sad.
They should put
make photocopies of them and put it in your scrapbook.
No, that's work.
Yeah. That's work.
That requires foresight and effort.
Yes. Speaking of scrapbooks, I was actually going through, I keep like a little folder in my pictures file of each year, and then about every year or 2, I'll actually have pictures printed because I like having physical photo albums.
Right.
And I was looking at 2013, which has continued into 2014 because I haven't yet had it printed.
Right.
And I have a lot of really fun pictures from this year. A lot of them are podcast pictures, like of us at the different coffee shops. A lot of it is like me hanging out with my nieces and nephews and like doing stuff with the women's chorus.
I like your impression of old person with a stick.
Oh, that was one of my
that was the newest one.
My niece Elizabeth and me, we have these little mini photo shoots. Like, she loves taking pictures and posing for pictures. And so she had put on my glasses and had this walking stick and was like making this like, I'm the old witch face. And then she gave the stick to me and she was like, be an old person with a stick. And so I made just like random faces, and
it was cool.
I posted them on Facebook. But that was actually, we were at my nephew's lacrosse game.
Okay.
He's, I think, 10 or 11. I can never remember how old people are. I think he's 10. Yeah. And it's his first year in lacrosse, and so I went to his first game. And I gotta say, lacrosse is my favorite sport to watch kids play.
Right.
Because it's it has enough going on that it's interesting. So it's not like baseball where you're just like, oh god, like it's so boring until someone like actually gets a hit, and then it's exciting for like 30 seconds.
Right. Oh.
They're short. Like the whole game took like 40 minutes.
Right.
And there was enough like contact that it was fun, but nobody got hurt. Nobody and like the stick stuff, like it's enough advanced that it's impressive when they do the really good passes and stuff. Passes. But it's not so hard that at that age they suck bad at it. Like they were pretty good.
Lacrosse is kind of like hockey meets soccer a little bit, or is it a field sport?
Yeah, it is like hockey meets soccer because you're running,
right?
But you have those sticks where they catch the ball and throw it, and so you're passing with the sticks. But you can also like brain somebody with the stick, and it's totally legal. Like there was a lot of like, well,
they have
in
to wear
certain
helmets.
contexts,
They have to wear helmets.
They're in like shoulder pads, chest pads, helmets, no shin pads because it's illegal to kick another opponent. But you can kick the ball.
You can kick the ball.
You can kick the ball. But it's hard to kick the ball. But, you know, there'd be like 10 of them like trying to scoop the ball, and then one kid would like shoot his foot in and kick it out of the pack and then run around and try to get it. That's totally legal.
So it almost seems like it's like the best of each sport. You got the pads and the helmet for football. You got the sticks from hockey, and then the ball from soccer.
Yeah. Huh. It's fun. It's totally fun. And I can see why my nephew is like, he begged his parents to let him switch from baseball to lacrosse. And I'm like, that is a no-brainer because they are the same season. Because lacrosse is 100% more interesting than baseball.
Baseball's boring.
Baseball is the worst. Yeah. I straight up hate baseball. Even Major League Baseball is mind-numbingly boring.
Keegan did T-ball and coach pitch.
T-ball. Oh my god.
Coach pitch baseball.
Boring.
And it was pretty boring. But it was one of the beginning sports where they were learning the fundamentals. And he's not a runner, so that was one of the sports he wanted to play. But it was really fun watching the kids because I'm like the first baseman, we'd be lifting up the base, looking at the bugs underneath there.
Yeah, totally.
The other kids out there kicking dandelions.
That's the thing too, though, that like as boring as baseball is, to me, it's one of the funnest games to like get a bunch of people together and play, just like a pickup game.
Yeah,
like
it's
to
fun
me,
to
it's
play,
fun
but boring
to play.
To watch.
Yeah, and I think it's funner to play when you only have like 5 people and everyone's like you just rotate spots to you don't even have 2 teams.
Oh, right.
It's like either you're playing first base or you're batting or you're pitching.
Yeah, okay,
but you're just like messing around and like running.
Yeah, so
because I just like hitting the ball.
It's like batting practice.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But that's like I would rather play a pickup game of baseball than a pickup game of basketball.
Yeah.
But that's because I suck bad at basketball.
I do too.
But I'd rather watch NBA than Major League Baseball, hands down.
Yeah,
hands down NBA's
to play it. I'd rather play baseball. To watch, I'd rather watch basketball.
Yep.
And
football, I like to watch live.
Yep.
Like I think football's funner live than basketball is, but on TV, basketball is funner than football.
Yep.
For me.
Well,
just because it moves so fast.
The crowd in football is so much more jacked up.
Totally.
It could be totally freezing outside, and people out there shirtless.
Yeah, totally.
It's insane.
Well, I think that's part of it too. Is that like outside versus inside? I don't know. I just think like going to a football game sounds funner to me than going to a basketball game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've been to all of them. And baseball's the most boring one you can go to.
Oh my gosh, baseball makes me want to kill myself.
Yeah, it's a place. Yeah, you just basically paying. It's an outdoor restaurant.
Yeah. It's like way inflated prices.
Yeah.
It's like eating at a theme park, but you don't get to go on a roller coaster.
You can.
You can.
Ride the banister. Slide down it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that was really fun. Going to the lacrosse game, I thought was good times. But that's, yeah, so a lot of the pictures that I'm going to get in my 2013 photo album are the photo shoots with my niece where we're doing stupid stuff.
Cool.
Which is
Those
fun.
are fun.
Yeah, they are really fun. And so, anyway, I'm excited though to get that printed because
I love stupid photos
this year.
I like taking goofy photos. My wife hates it.
Aww.
Keegan and I were always making faces. Like, she'll want to just pose and get the perfect shot and take like 80 pictures of the same shot.
Nice.
But we'll be making like little eye movements and stuff. And
my favorite thing,
flaring nostrils.
Totally. My favorite thing to do, I actually started this, I think in the last podcast I brought this up too, was the improv festival in New York that I went to with my improv team, where I was talking about Little Italy. But we would be just taking pictures in different places, and so I started like giving them a suggestion because we were an improv team, and so I'd be like 4 old cows standing around a person who just cured cancer, just like nonsense things, and then everybody would try to make that obvious in the picture. And the pictures from that trip are so funny because you're like, why? Wait a minute. That person is like in this really weird position, and then this person has a really like a face on her face that doesn't make any sense, and like the pictures are so funny.
The cows would be just like, no, so it's like, yeah, you cured cancer. Moo.
Well, it's funny because the pictures like are so bizarre, and then we also took pictures next to piles of trash in each neighborhood we went to, because New York is a series of piles of trash. And so then for some reason that turned into like seductive pictures with piles of trash, where we'd be like making bedroom faces and like humping the trash. And so the pictures from that trip are freaking hysterical. Like every single one, you're like, what are you doing? And then we'll take like a series of shots in the same location where I'd shout out 5 we did what we called the album covers, where it was like this person got to pick what album it was, and then everyone would like do their thing for that album. And so then it's like the same, like there's one where we're in a subway station on a bench, and it's like 6 pictures of the exact same frame, but just different weird poses. It was really fun. Yeah.
That sounds fun.
It was a way to kill time and have more interesting pictures. Because the thing I hate, and I love my sister, but my sister Debbie takes 1,000 pictures of her family, and they all look exactly the same. Because her kids are standing with their heads slightly tilted and the really painful smile, and they're like all in a little triangle-shaped pattern.
I may be married to your sister.
And it's so boring.
I may be married to your sister.
Kenia, you're fired. No, I'm just kidding. You guys take fun pictures.
Yes, I know.
My sister does not take a picture where her kids are not smiling. And this is why my niece and I do the photo shoots, because I'm trying to untrain her from smiling in every picture of the same, like, I'm posing for this picture smile. That drives me crazy.
I like the out of the blue, like when you're not the candid shots.
Yeah, me too.
I love those because it's like you catch somebody in their thought, and you can see the thought on their face, and then you go, oh, what were you thinking when I took this picture? You know, and sometimes they remember, sometimes they don't. I like those.
I much prefer those, or I like pictures where people look bad. And my nieces and nephews will not have a single picture where they look bad, because they all get deleted from the camera.
Oh, really?
Oh, totally. And it's a function of, there are more bad pictures of people our age than there are younger people, because they delete them.
Right.
And we did not have the opportunity to delete them, because you don't find out you look bad for like 3 weeks.
Yep. Well, it got down to 2 hours, but
2 hours minimum.
Yeah.
But really, usually it's 2 weeks later you get the film back and you're like, oh, I look like crap in all of those pictures.
We actually have in our storage locker at our apartment some film that has not yet been developed.
Nice.
And I don't know how. I know, but it doesn't film rot after a while.
Yeah, it does. But send it in. Find out.
Yeah, because they don't charge you if it's not good. It's free.
Right. Yeah.
If it's blank.
It should. I mean, unless it was in like under the hot sun, it should be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, cold storage. Yeah. Like if the storage is ambient temperature, you should be okay.
Yeah, it's been in the. I don't know. It's been hovering around I think we've moved it twice. From our house in Auburn to the house in the boarding to now our apartment. So yeah, it's been moved twice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of moving, I think I found a new apartment.
Sweet. Bigger, yeah?
Oh my gosh.
Bigger, nicer?
3 times the size of my apartment right now for $200 more a month.
What are you going to do with all that space?
I'm going to roll nude in it. I have no idea. Nothing. I'm going to keep it open is the thing. I'm just going to like...
Door kicks open and just Peggy naked.
And I'm like, it's so much space. Oops. I spilled my almost empty coffee.
I'm just picturing you kicking the door open and just diving headfirst into your apartment, dude.
It's such a huge apartment. It's a 3-bedroom, but which the guy only listed it as a 2-bedroom. But when I got there, I was like, there are 3 bedrooms in this, and he was like, I don't want more than 2 people living here. And I was like, I like you.
Yeah.
I was like, how about 1 person? But I'm moving in with my nephew. But
nice.
I would just rent it myself. Like, it's so nice and like so reasonably priced, but I don't know if he's going to give it to us because we're quote unquote young people.
I know, I seen that. It's like
it's mostly my nephew who's the young person. I think I'm passably old, but I think even I'm a little bit younger than he wants in the apartment. But he doesn't realize how boring and clean we are. And so I told him, I was like, dude, I'm like, honestly, I come home and like watch, The Good Wife for 6 hours and needlepoint. Like, we're boring.
Yeah.
And so he's gonna.
Well, you can get a reference from your current landlord too.
I know, he's just being weird about it, and but then he looked at my credit and he was like, "Oh, you have really good credit," and I was like, "Yes, I do."
Yeah.
And so I think he's probably going to give it to us.
That means you can borrow money.
I know. He just was like, at first he was really kind of weird about it, and so he's running our credit report. And then I think he wants to meet my nephew just to make sure he's not a stoner, even though he is a stoner. But he wants to. I mean, my nephew's like the nicest person of all time, so he'll be fine.
I had a boss who's since retired. He used to say, "I can spot a stoner from a mile away," and his son standing right next to him is
a giant
huge
stoner. You're like, no, you can spot obvious like hooligan stoner.
And pretty much like 80% of the guys I work with are stoners.
Oh, totally.
It's like, oh, these guys are good guys, and none of them do drugs. I was like, oh, really? Chuckle.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is people will always tell you like they can tell when people are lying.
Right.
I'm like, well, you can probably tell when they're unconvincingly lying, but people probably lie to you all the time and you can't tell.
Right.
Or you can tell when you then find out.
Right. Oh, I knew she was lying. I knew he was lying.
I'm like, well,
no, you didn't.
I don't think you did.
No.
Yeah. No, but my nephew's great, and he's
nice.
quiet, and he's, he'll just, like, he's the kind of person who, like, the last time he came to visit,
is it still in Capitol Hill?
He cleaned my bathroom. Like, I got home, and he was like, hey, I cleaned your bathroom, and I walked in, and it was, like, sparklingly clean, and I was like, wow. And he's like, yeah, it was pretty dirty, so I just cleaned it. And I'm like, this is why I'm cool moving in with you. Because he's more likely to fix something than break it.
Oh, nice. He leaves something better than what he found it. That's good. That's a good quality
He wanted to rent. They have like a storage in the garage, and he was thinking of asking about it because he has a compressor and tools that he'd like to bring. And I was like, this is why he's going to love you. And I was like, well, we have 3 bedrooms, so maybe just put your compressor and tools in the 3rd bedroom.
Obviously it's a small compressor, not a huge.
Yeah, I think it's not like, I have no idea. He said it would be better in a garage, and I was like,
so it's probably big.
I don't know. Yeah. But his dad is a contractor, and so he's grown up with the need for tools ingrained in him.
He has the tinkering gene.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. No, it's not in Capitol Hill though. It's in West Seattle.
Oh, okay.
So, which I was looking for because I really like West Seattle.
West Seattle's nice.
And the prices are good.
Really?
And Capitol Hill, the prices are really good in West Seattle compared to downtown or Queen Anne. And I would like to have parking no longer factor into my life.
Okay.
Like, I would like to live in a place where if I have a party, I'm not mourning people about where to park, they will just drive and park in the neighborhood, you know?
How far off Alki would you be?
It's not in Alki, it's south of Alki. Like if you take the West Seattle Bridge and take 35th, you drive south for like 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay.
Cool. It's closer to Lincoln Park than to Alki.
Oh, okay.
So, because it's like middle of West Seattle and kind of west. Which for my job, it's closer to where my clients live, which will be convenient for me.
Yeah.
So
shorter commute.
Yep. Totally.
Save gas. Wear and tear on your car.
Well, and it's weird because one of my offices is up here at Capitol Hill and one is down in Tukwila. And so the commute to this office at Capitol Hill will be longer, but the commute to the other one will be shorter. So I think it'll balance out.
Yeah, it's balance out. Yeah,
so,
cool.
But I'm really excited, and I hope we get it.
Yeah.
And if we get it, I'm going to write a check that day, and I'm going to move in as soon as possible.
Is it a huge complex, or is it?
No, it's a duplex. It's a house. So top floor us, bottom floor it's like a mom and a 4-year-old.
Okay, so
kid.
it's like a house that was converted into a duplex. That's cool.
Yeah,
There's
it's really
a lot
nice.
Of here in Seattle.
So like a backyard deck with like a garden and like we'd be able to get a barbecue and
nice. All right. Yeah. That's
and I was thinking for the third bedroom, it's going to be my sewing room / maybe podcast studio. So if we want to record in a non-public place, we have a spot to sit comfortably around a microphone.
That would be cool, and that way you can be a little bit more choosy with guests and stuff.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Get more better guests.
Yeah.
And you can set up like Rick wanted to get like a mixing
board, totally, with some microphones. I think that would be a cool long-term thing to do. Like,
that would be cool.
Yeah, I think it would be nice. So this would absolutely have space for it.
I'm rooting for it.
Yeah, not only does it have 3 bedrooms, but it also has a giant living room, a big dining room, and a full entryway. And so the third bedroom is literally going to be like and since I'm paying most of the rent, I get it.
Yeah, that's how it works.
It's going to be my other stuff room, so it'll have like my keyboard and my sewing machines and like it'll be my hobby room.
Cool.
So I'll have a table and we can set up a little podcast.
Nice. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm already stoked.
I know, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So we might get rejected, but the look on his face when he saw my credit report, he was like, "Ew, you are really responsible." And I was like, "Yes, I am."
Yep.
And I was like, "I'm a social worker. Not only am I responsible enough for myself, I'm responsible enough to help people who are completely irresponsible. Not only am I taking care of my own self, but many other adults."
Right, many other adults, yeah.
So, yeah. So I feel like if, I think once he meets my nephew, it'll be a done deal.
Cool.
You know?
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm open.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And I got a moving quote, and moving is much less expensive than I expected because there's a lot of really cheap movers in town.
There's that. So, I hear one popular one's 2 guys in a truck.
I got a quote from them, and it was so cheap, and I was like, sold, done.
Tip them and feed them is what I heard. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Well, at that rate, I mean, I'm cool packing everything up, and I have very little heavy furniture, but the things I do have are really heavy. Like the couch is really heavy, and the bed is really heavy. It is. Well, it's a double recliner couch.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's really heavy. And so I was like, I'm just hiring movers. Like, I don't want to deal with it. I want to go have lunch with a friend and then meet my stuff in my house.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
I'm an adult now. I'm going to have my first actual adult, like, real apartment and my first movers.
I'm an adult now.
I know. It's kind of milestone-y for me, though, where it's like every other time I move, it's pizza and beer for my friends. When I'm finally an adult.
Yeah, finally an adult now.
Totally.
Ukulele band.
But it really is like every other time I've moved, it's been horrible, miserable beer and pizza for friends, or me in a van driving cross country and just like soul crushing.
I've never hired movers.
I know, but I'm hiring movers. I've decided, and if I move into this place, I told the guy, I will live here for a decade because I'm done moving, and that place is nice enough that like the next time I move, I would be buying a house.
Okay.
And realistically, like for me, I want to wait a while before buying a house. Like I want to I want to, save up for some other things first, and then at some point buy a house. But I'm not ready to dig that hole until I'm making really good money.
It is a huge commitment. I've done it twice.
Totally.
The second one didn't go so well, but the first one was nice.
And I want to have some more financial security before, because when shit breaks, it's you. And I at this point can't afford that. So I want it when shit breaks, it's my landlord's, not me. You know?
That's nice. That is probably the best part about renting. Is like, hey, the sink's leaking.
Totally.
The toilet
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, come and fix it.
So I want to have like some serious money in the bank before I make that commitment. And that's several years away.
Our neighbors just moved out, so it's nice. We don't have
weird ones. I mean, the nice but weird.
Yeah, nice but weird. They moved out, and so now it's quiet upstairs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, before it wasn't a big deal, but they got little ones, and they.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it is about some people. Like his wife is overweight. You never hear her walk around.
But the little kid,
him and the little kids, like he was not overweight, but he walked like he had cement feet.
Heavy. Yeah.
I was like, man.
That's people. I lived with a roommate once who I hated. Like she's the most hated roommate I've ever had, and she walked on her heels, and it was like, clunk, 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 clunk. Like I could hear her coming a mile away, and I'm like, why? Just walk like a normal person.
I am a hippo ninja.
Totally, me too.
I'm a big guy, but I walk like like my feet are on like they're feathers. My wife and son.
No reason to stop. There's no reason to stop.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just move, put your foot down. You don't have to clomp it.
Yeah.
Oh, she drove me crazy.
I sneak up on people all the time.
Nice.
Hippo ninja.
Yeah, I don't even try to walk quiet. Why would you stop?
Yeah.
There's no reason.
Heel toe. Yeah.
Totally. But anyway, so I'm excited about the potential new move. You were saying that you had watched a movie that you wanted to talk about.
I did, and it started out really good. It's the remake of Red Dawn.
The remake of Red Dawn with Mr. Liam Hemsworth?
Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, is Thor not Thor's brother? I thought it was Thor's brother.
No, Thor.
Oh, Thor, okay.
Yeah. He was actually really good. The movie started out really strong, and it has the guy, his name's Josh from Josh and Drake. He's in it. You ever seen Josh and Drake? Keegan. No, never mind.
He's not listening to you.
His name's Josh. What's the guy's name? Josh what? Anyway, never mind.
Yeah, let's
move forward. He was on it. Yeah, Josh. He was on a TV show. He was a chubby kid on a TV show, which he since lost all his weight and became athletic. And he was. It was one of those type of people where you're like, why did I never know that kid from? And it was from the Nickelodeon show, and he was really good in it. And it kind of followed the original storyline with Patrick Swayze and what's his name, Charlie Sheen, but then the end just shit the bed. It was like
that's too bad.
I was like, oh man, it was actually pretty good. It took place in Spokane, Washington.
Weird.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that wasn't the one I started watching. One of them is on Netflix. Is it on Netflix streaming?
We got it from the library.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of them, it's either Red Dawn or one of the other movies with similar actors that came out around that time that I started watching and was just like so uninterested in.
Yeah.
I feel like it might have been that, but I was just like.
It actually, it didn't. It wasn't going to be released. It was.
Really?
It was shelved. It was brought. It was made back when Barack Obama first got elected to president.
Oh,
so
wow.
it was that old. And
then Thor did well, and so they brought it out again.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
That the Avengers did really well, and so they released Cabin in the Woods. But Cabin in the Woods was filmed before the Avengers.
Right. Who was in that now? Is that also Chris Hemsworth?
It was Chris Hemsworth, and it was Joss Whedon. Cabin in the Woods is a spectacular movie.
I liked it.
It's really good. But the reason it actually was more that Joss Whedon was being box office popular, and so that's why.
Oh.
But also because of Chris Hemsworth a little bit, but mostly Joss Whedon. But no, that is a genius. I think that's actually Joss Whedon's best movie.
I liked it.
He's one of those that people love to love, but actually most of his stuff is really shitty.
Right.
Like and people won't admit that it's shitty because they want it to be really good, but it's actually pretty shitty. But Cabin in the Woods is like, it is 100% solid. Like, there's not a,
the whole premise
mistake in the entire movie. It's
perfect. The whole premise of that we're kept in balance by sacrifice. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
It's a great concept. They build it really well. All of the performances are really good. It has just enough comedy and just enough horror to be a really good balance.
It also reminded me of the movie 13 Ghosts.
Oh, I never saw that.
You never saw that?
No.
The guy that played Shaggy from Scooby-Doo was...
Sean William Scott?
No, that's not Sean William Scott. But he played Shaggy. I don't remember his name, but he's...
Wait. Oh, no, you're right. It's not. That's... the guy who plays Shaggy on Scooby-Doo is... Matthew Lillard.
Yes.
And he
plays a ghost. He plays a medium who can see ghosts.
Right
on. And also the guy from Monk. What's his name?
Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah, he's in it.
Nice, I like him.
Yeah, it was a good movie. But it kind of reminded me, had that element of the ghosts, and then where they had the demons in the black with the floating elevators. Yeah, that was kind of I like that.
Cool. Tony Shalhoub and Matt Lillard are probably the same age, and they're a weird pair because Tony Shalhoub has looked 50 since he was 25.
Yeah,
and Matt Lillard has looked 25. Going from age 15 to 40, but they're probably very similarly aged.
Yeah.
Matt Lillard is one that I looked him up one day and I was like, whoa, he's 10 years older than I thought he was. But he just looks very...
he has that...
and just recently he started looking old. Like, he did The Descendants and he played he played just like a smaller part, but suddenly it was like, oh, he's like 45. Like,
he looks old. He looks 45 now.
He suddenly looks 45, but he'd been 45 for a while, and he just looked 30 or 25.
Yeah, maybe it might have been the makeup too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And he plays those like stoner characters really well. So
that's why he played
And
Shaggy
he's kind of a Seth Green where, Seth Green is my age and he's been playing 15-year-old for 20 years. But I love Seth Green. Yeah. Anyway, so you're saying do or don't see Red Dawn?
It was good for like a take-home rental. Okay, it was a good waste of time, but the end was just disappointing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It was there was a Road Warrior type aspect at the end of it. I'm like, nah, come on.
That's too bad.
Everything else was kind of, none of it was really believable, but it was cool.
Enjoyable.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I haven't watched any really significant movies lately. I've mostly been, honestly, just watching The Good Wife, which is like the mom show of the century, but it's really good. Like, and there's so many seasons of it that I started watching it. I forget why. It was just like the next thing that came on Hulu.
Oh, it was recommended.
And I clicked on it and watched like the first 3 episodes, and I was like, oh, this is a really good show, and just kept watching it. And now I'm on like season 3, and there's still like 4 more seasons of it.
Is it still in for? I think they're still producing them.
I think so. And like it's a really solid, interesting show. ABC. Yeah. So I've been watching that for weeks, and because I'm doing this needlepoint thing, and so it's a nice show to have on while I'm staring at a needlepoint. Because you don't really, it's entertaining, but you don't have to be watching it to watch it.
So you have it out as background noise.
Kind of. Yeah. I know what's going on. Right. But it doesn't, it's not annoying and distracting, and it's, entertaining. So I've been on that for quite a while now. It's been a couple of weeks.
A while ago when I had Netflix, I started watching Weeds.
Oh, I love Weeds.
It got to a point where I couldn't watch it.
No, it does. What season were you on?
I think season 4.
Yep. There's a season that it gets depressing. Like, it's funny, and then there's a season where you're like...
They're just killing people.
Now they're just ruining everyone's lives. And you're like... Now I want bad things to happen to them because it used to be like, oh, they're just getting in these mishaps, but they're trying to do something.
I liked it better when she was in a financial, she needed money, and so she started selling weed and she was smoking. I liked it better. At a certain point, they just become horrible humans. Yeah. And Celia leaves, and Celia's my favorite character. She was actually really cool.
She's great, and then in that season, she kind of goes away. Like, she's there a tiny bit, but but the dynamic changes, and I just want bad things to happen to Nancy because she's a horrible person.
Yeah.
It's right after she starts having sex with just way too many people.
Everyone.
Yes, and then you start hating her because like she's like you no longer are rooting for her.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting because I don't think I was rooting for her ever, but like at a certain point I start rooting for other people to take her down.
Right.
Because she just seems so vacuous and horrible. Yeah. And I'm like, you're just a bad person.
Right. It's almost like it's the Walter, they were trying to copy Breaking Bad a little bit.
Well, but they were 3 years earlier than Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Oh.
But like the thing with Breaking Bad is that like I forget who it was. I want to say it was Alfred Hitchcock said that, but don't quote me on that. But someone said like, you will root for a character if not because you like them, but because they are good at what they do.
Right.
And so Walter White, even when he became bad, was so good at being bad that you want him to succeed at being bad. But Nancy is irritating and not really particularly adept at anything. No. And so she's like a complete, like, almost like a clown. And then at a certain point, it's like, you're not nice, you're not virtuous, you're not good at anything, you're kind of a bitch to people, so now I want you, like, you're not giving me anything to root for at all.
And and it was like when her DEA boyfriend got killed.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's like,
you're not even sad.
Yeah, totally.
Like, you're almost happy that
he's dead. She could be, I think we would root for her if she wasn't sad, if she seemed impressive at something.
Right.
But she's not.
Right.
You know? And so, like, I think that's the difference between her and a Walter White, who Walter White also didn't seem sad when he, staged the poisoning of the nephew. Are you at that point yet?
I watched it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't.
But he does some things that are really cruel that he has no remorse for.
But the nephew didn't die, did he?
No, but he was in the hospital.
Yeah.
Almost died.
That was a ricin poisoning.
Yeah. But like he does stuff that is evil and he doesn't have remorse for it, but he's so mastermindy that we root for him because we want to watch him be clever. But Nancy's not clever, so we don't want to watch her do anything.
Everything was an accident with her too.
Yeah.
That's like
she's just like carrying a latte, letting the world go crazy, and like managing to sneak out. But she's almost like a parasite, whereas Walter White was like an evil mastermind.
Yes, he was a full-on virus.
Yeah,
she was
totally.
A parasite. Yeah.
And so it's like, because a lot of people, I've read a couple of articles who talk about like the difference between a female character who does bad things and a male character who does bad things. And they, like, one article really annoyed me because they were talking about Skylar versus Walter White and talking about how Skylar does some things that are, like, bitchy and evil and people hate her. Walter does things bitchy and evil and we love him. And I'm like, well, but that's just looking at one aspect. Like, the reason we don't love Skylar is she doesn't seem particularly impressive with anything. But like, Walter does stuff like where the best one was where he makes the fake meth that's explosive. He does stuff that you're like, he's a genius. It's in like the second season. Oh, when he throws it and it explodes.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I seen the one where he cooked it in the pan and created
that's cool
the noxious
too.
Gas.
No, you did see it, you just don't remember. It was the really like the guy who was on drugs, who was
the guy who was kept killing his friends.
And he went to sell him meth and was standing with a bag of blue, but then it was before blue. It was just clear, and he was like I'm gonna give this to you, and then the guy, like, they were trying to do this thing, and then he was like, well, you took all my weapons except that this is not actually meth, and then he threatens them with this bag of explosive that looks like meth.
It's like nitroglycerin.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, he does stuff like that that's like, he's a freaking mastermind. Like, that's why we root for him.
Yeah.
Skylar has no equivalent of that.
Right.
All she is like, and I actually like Skylar, but a lot of people hate her.
Right.
But she's kind of like naggy and manipulative, and she gets a lot out she's a parasite on Walt because she gets as much out of it as he does without being impressive in any way.
Didn't she get the money at the very end of the movie?
No, because she was in that sad apartment.
Oh, that's right.
Spoiler alert.
Right.
No, you know, in the finale, she lives in that like really crappy apartment, and like, no, she definitely gets it in the shorts in the end. But, like, I think, though, I've actually watched the whole series twice. The second time through, the first time through, I was appropriately annoyed with Skylar.
Right.
But the second time through, like, I really was fond of her. And she's, like, more of a tragic figure because you see her, like, you can kind of know what's coming. And you watch her do stuff, and you're like, yeah, that's probably what I would do in that situation.
Right.
But she, like, I mean, at a certain point, she's complicit with him, doing just as much bad as Walt is.
Right.
But with no Lex Luthor quality about her. You know?
Right.
And it's that part of it that makes us love villains, because when they're not just like a shitty villain, and they're like this, like, you want to watch them be really evil. You know? You want to watch them be impressive and conniving and do something exciting.
Talk about Lex Luthor, because he's not actually, in his mind, he's not bad. He's just an opportunist.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's also, like, clever and rich and does exciting big things. But, like, the other one, like, for example, in Lord of the Rings, I'll nerd out here for a minute. You have...
Geek alert.
Sauron, who is the white wizard with the creepy fingers in the movie, who's really evil.
Right.
And his sidekick is Wormwood, who is the one who
He's the
enchants...
Shade. He's the Shade.
Yeah, totally. He enchants the king, Theoden.
Yeah.
And you like the white wizard because he's really evil.
Right.
But Wormwood is just as evil, but he's quiet and creepy about it and doesn't do anything big. He just kind of sneaks around, and you hate him.
He's the one that goes around whispering in people's ears. Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's like, you know, there's predictable natures of
kind of his name
like,
is the wormy wood, you know.
Totally.
Wormwood,
And actually in the books, have you read the books?
It's been ages.
Okay. He has a really interesting thing because in the books, at the very end, after everything that happens in the movies, Frodo returns home to the Shire. And Wormwood has taken over the Shire and is oppressing all of the hobbits. And Frodo goes in with the other hobbits and leads a rebellion until they overthrow Wormwood.
Okay.
And then the theme of that to me is they went on this big journey in order to gain the confidence to go home and save the Shire.
Right.
It's really kind of cool because even after they defeat Mordor or defeat Saruman and all this big evil, they go home and defeat the little evil.
Right.
And if they hadn't gone through that whole journey,
they would have been enslaved.
They would have been enslaved by this douchebag Wormwood.
Yeah, I remember now because that's where they dead ended it in the movie. It's like they show them riding in, they're all squired out, and it's just like,
and everyone's just like, hooray!
Yeah,
but you don't get the sense that the Shire would have even been affected by everything that was going on in like the world of men.
Right.
But it in the books it does. Anyway, I just always thought that was a really cool ending where it's kind of like sweet because they ride in and throw out the B- villain.
The hobbits are actually supposed to be non-adventurous,
They don't stand up for themselves.
Right.
They just kind of like are nice people that
just
go
exist.
along with stuff. Yeah, totally. Anyway, that's my nerd out about the Hobbit.
Yeah.
So we're about out of time again. I know, isn't that funny? But yeah, we're at 42 minutes, so we should probably wrap it up.
It goes by fast. Okay, we'll be back a regular schedule.
It's true.
Not next week, but the following week. Hopefully Rick will be back.
Rick will probably be back.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much all I got for right now.
We should have apartment news.
Yeah, definitely. I'll either be in my new apartment or have lost it and be looking for another one.
Either or.
Either way.
Either you get it or you won't.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and tell a friend, like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and anyway, that's it. Huzzah!